one family has been documenting the history of the Green Bay Packers through pictures since before the Vince Lombardi era.
New at 10, Lance Allen got a look at their treasure trove of memories. Lance?
Stephen Shannon, some consider the Packers historic, iconic, and part of the rich culture of not only this area, but the NFL and the national love of pro football. A Port Washington family captured that magic and now has the photos and the book to prove it.
This is the archives.
Inside this Port Washington home,
and there's anything and everything you'd want to know or see about Bart Starr right there.
This is just a small number of the photos that we have of Bart Starr.
lies a Packers treasure trove.
This is like the Packer Hall of Fame South right here.
Jim Beaver, together with his father Vernon and brother John, spent years as the Packers team photographers. His dad started during World War II.
40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, the aughts as they call them, just that time period.
Yeah, we've covered 8 decades of the Packers' 10 decades in existence.
Do you feel like you're sitting on a gold mine? Is there a price tag on what you have?
Yeah, I've never thought of it that way. The question is, are they for sale? No. For some of these photos, they might be the only photo of existence of a particular player or an event or a game. And so, yeah, maybe they are iconic.
And that's why Jim published the book 100 Years in Titletown.
How much joy then does it give you to develop this book and to kind of share it with the world?
This was an opportunity for me to illustrate our favorite pictures, great games, great players. It's not only history of the Packers, but it's just the evolution of sports photography in general.
The most famous, even the winning Ice Bowl photo has a story.
Got my brother John. He was 15 years old at the time, and my dad said, we're down to a few seconds here. We're next to each other in the end zone. John, you stay here and shoot whatever action happens. I'm going to go around and shoot Lombardi's reaction on the sidelines. It was a risk for my father to do that, and in the end, the results were fabulous.
The best that Jim took, more recent.
One of my very favorite pictures is a picture of Brett Favre in the locker room, 2006. The team is kneeling for the team prayer, and there's Brett standing towering above them.
Some border on hilarious.
Somebody stole Lombardi's hat from, I think the Ice Bowl game or whatever, so I wouldn't doubt it.
I've got the picture.
You ever have players come up to you and say, "Get my good side"?
No, I do the best I can.
And the absurd.
The referee crew that we had at a preseason game in Green Bay a few years ago, it was a replacement crew. And as I was doing it, they said, "Now you don't have to tell us to smile because we are so happy to be here." And so shot the picture and emailed it off to them, and that was the same crew that blew the call in Seattle.
As Jim looks at Vern's scrapbook, he realizes in today's digital age how special it was what his dad truly did.
Just so many great pictures. 14 frames per second. Anybody could be a photographer today. 1940s, what they called press camera. For my father to use this for sports, he'd focus on a spot on the field and wait for the action to run into it.
A moment captured in time.
This, I think, was probably his favorite overall picture ever. The play is known as the Lombardi sweep. And what makes this picture is Lombardi across the field on the sidelines watching this play develop.
225,000 photos, some shared in 288 pages of an eye-catching book, all preserved for history and Packers fans worldwide.
I look back in amazement at some of the pictures my father took, and just thinking of the equipment he had, the situations he was in, I look at some of those just in amazement.
Jim himself shot 40 years worth of Packers games and history. He started with his dad in 1975, and my favorite, a picture he took inside the Lambeau Field Bowl of Brett Favre and me, just the two of us midfield during Brett's Packers Hall of Fame ceremony. Wow. So he's an incredible photographer. Gets great stuff.
Yes, and Tomat Wolverton did an awesome job.
Wolverton did an awesome job of that. All the credit to him. Absolutely.
He'll sell some of those books.
Mm-hmm.